Welcome to Sober Living Snippets, the podcast helping people over 40 live alcohol free so you can improve your relationships, feel youthful again, and finally ditch regret and shame. Hello, and welcome to your daily snippet. My absolute pleasure and honor to have you with us. This week, or I should say in the next few days and yesterday, we are talking about universal laws of nature, and I'm just going to have so much fun with that. Yesterday, we talked about the law of non-resistance, which is so much fun to play with, and I invite you to check that out if you haven't and start playing with it in your life. These laws, you literally can play with them by saying, oh, didn't really realize that. Let me see if I can see examples of these laws in action in my life. When you have awareness and desire, it becomes quite fun. So, yesterday, I encouraged you to look for the law of non-resistance in your life. Today, we are going to talk about the law of cause and effect, which is also in some cultures known as the law of karma. Remember now, these laws are as unyielding as the law of gravity. It doesn't matter if you believe in them. It doesn't matter if you know about them. They are there and you are subject to them. Period. Just like the law of gravity. You jump off the building, you are going to go down, and you can't say, no one told me about gravity. Too bad, so sad, it's going to affect you. These laws are the same as that. That's it. They affect us whether we know about them or not. It doesn't matter. They are a part of our lives. So let's talk about the law of cause and effect. You know why this is a hard one? This is a hard one because, first of all, what is the law of cause and effect? It's exactly what it says. One action, whatever okay, another way of putting it, you'll reap what you sow. Whatever you put out there will come back to you. That is the law of cause and effect, or the law of karma. Whatever you put out into the world will come back to you. If you want love, give love. If you want kindness, give kindness. Right? That's it in a nutshell. However, this one's super tough because we can see just by looking around us examples of this not happening. Evil people get rich and right, people steal, scammers, right? Take innocent people's money and then never get caught. Murderers get away with it. Right, we see examples of this all around us where we're like, wow. Right? It's like that guy's a total scammer, or that person's this or that and we see evil people apparently getting away with evil. And so we think to ourselves, there is that, yeah, that doesn't, right? It doesn't, crime doesn't pay it doesn't make sense to us. But I want you to understand something about this law. We can't see the whole picture, kids. That's all it is. Took me a while to believe this. I'm like, well, it doesn't, because we all have examples in our lives, and we've seen people do things that are just appalling, and they never get punished. They just seem to go scot-free, and it's very, very annoying to those of us who decide to play by the rules and believe that what we put out there will come back to us. And yet, not only do we see people doing evil, horrible things and not having any consequence, but on top of that, we see the kindest, nicest, gentlest, people, the most generous people we know. And what happens to them? Horrible things. They not only do they not get the rewarded for their generosity and their kindness, but bad things happen to them. We think, well, that doesn't make any sense. They're the nicest person I know. Why would this horrible thing happen to them? So we can't see it. We just don't see it playing out in life, and so it's hard. It's hard for us to believe that this is a true and real thing. But I'll tell you why that is, and why it's a really good idea to trust that this is a real and true law. The reason we can't see it, I'm sure you know this, is simply that the law is too big. The timeline is too big. We don't see everything. We just see a piece of the puzzle. So we can't possibly know how that person is going to end up paying for the evil that they've done. We can't possibly understand why a good person apparently gets horrible things happening to them. The picture is too big. And to try and give us an understanding of this, I did a little bit of math, which is not my favorite thing, but I did it. Let's just imagine that you live 80 years, right? And let's take your 80 years of life, and each day of your life is a piece of a puzzle. So your life is a big, gigantic jigsaw puzzle. Your life, my life, everybody's life. If you live 80 years, you live for 29,200 days. So let's take each day is a piece of this jigsaw puzzle that, if all put together from the very first moment you took your first breath to the very last breath, there are 29,200 pieces of this puzzle, right? How can we possibly see the entire puzzle when we don't have all these pieces? 29,200 pieces. I can't, all I can see is a fragment of this whole thing called someone's life. Right? So how do I know that what happened before, what happened later? And then of course, you could take this another step further, and if you believe in reincarnation, add to that several lifetimes of 80 years or more. And we're just sorry, it's impossible for us to see the whole picture, and therefore we can't see cause and effect actually working. So unlike, and you don't have to believe in reincarnation. It's hard enough just with one lifetime. Doesn't matter, right? So, unlike the law of non resistance that I talked about yesterday, where if you play with it, you will see it manifesting in your life. You'll see examples just like the one I gave you of me not having to drive my relative's trailer simply by not resisting. And that wasn't a fluke. I've seen examples of this over and over and over in my life. Unfortunately, the law of cause and effect is a lot harder to play with because most of the time, sometimes we see it. It just works. You see, oh boy, no wonder that happened. Look what you did. It just came right back to bite you in the ass. But most of the time it doesn't. It doesn't. And we stand there and we think, that wasn't fair. Life isn't fair. That person's so nice. Why are these bad things happening? And so it looks like it's not a real law. So this one we have to go on faith. We really do. And so I strongly encourage you to go ahead and believe in this law on faith. Because why? Because you don't want things to come back and bite you in the ass later. It could be a long time coming, but it's coming back. I'm here to tell you. So why risk it? Why not just go ahead and go ahead and assume that it's whatever you put out there is going to come back? And by the way, we do get short-term little indications of this. I mean, if we want love and just put love out there, you will find more love coming into your life. If you want kindness, put more kindness out, you will see more kindness coming into your life. And even if you don't right away, you know in your heart, at the bottom of your heart and soul, that you're doing the right thing. And that always makes us feel better. And hopefully helps us not to drink because we're not trying to drink away guilt, right? Okay, so today's law, the law of cause and effect, and today's do is actually off topic, so it's not about cause and effect. But it is about these laws. I want you to today's do, I would like you to go back to yesterday. So we're looking at the law of non-resistance, and I realized afterwards that I wanted to take that one a little bit deeper. So revisit. You don't have to re-listen to the episode unless you want to, but I want you to think about the law of non-resistance. And yesterday I asked you to come up with something you're resisting. Ask yourself, how can I stop resisting this? Today, I want you to continue with that because this is the type of thing that can't just be done in a moment. We can't just go, okay, I won't resist that anymore. It takes time. And so I don't want yesterday's daily do to just end unfinished. I would like you to revisit it, ask yourself, okay, how am I doing with this? Can I get closer to non-resistance with this thing in my life? What is this thing? Am I willing? I wanted to bring it back into your consciousness today so that you're really working with that law. And then I want you to stay super alert and look for this thing coming in your life. Look for non-resistance paying off. And when it happens, please send me an email and say, you won't believe what happened. The minute I stopped resisting, I didn't have to walk under the ladder, or whatever it is. You will see examples of this. So today's daily do is to continue looking for examples of the law of non-resistance. And today's discussion was about the law of cause and effect and whether or not you're willing to believe that it really does affect us whether we believe it or not. So, I mean, that's the thing to keep in mind, right? It's just like gravity. We're all subject to these laws, whether we believe them or not. So, resistance won't take away the law of cause and effect. It just won't work. There it is. See you tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Bye bye. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.